Hi folks, welcome. Thank you very much for being here. Big thanks to the 4C folks. They're putting on an amazing show. We were treated well, and it's like nice hotel rooms, good music, dancing mosh pits, and all that good stuff. Thank you very much for being here. Again, outside on the thing it says like just my name. Clearly that's wrong. I'm here joined by our colleagues, Yegor, Slava, Irina. I'll introduce them again in the middle of the deck. That's part of the show. But thank you for being here. We'd like to have just a conversation. We're going to talk about what we know, what we've learned through our process of working on this big old project that we're supposed to do. So imagine, if you will, you have to work on a mission-critical project for the company. It's big, it can be an inflection, something that could change the direction of the company. It's not simple. It's a complicated piece of software. You know this. Max helped us make it. Yes, it's complicated. And it's far-reaching. It's not just for our team to use. It's going to affect customers. It's going to affect publishing. It's going to be something that's used by all development teams, both first and third party. Now, that's hard enough. But imagine you were asked to do this not just by yourself, with your comfortable team located in your office. You have to work on this distributed teams all around the world. Culturally divergent. We're not all coming from the same background, different countries, different assumptions of how to make software. And with a 10-hour time difference, because we're on one side of the map and the other friggin' side of the map, and you had to deal with 10 hours.
Oh, Americans. 11.
Yes, Americans, sorry. There's daylight saving times, and when that kicks in, it's fucking 11 hours. Oh shit, sorry. Everybody else has been swearing plenty in the talk, so if there's any children in the audience, please cover your ears. If you act like children, I can't help you. But 11-hour time difference sometimes. Thank you, Yegor, for that clarification. But that's our talk. We're going to talk about how to deal with those issues as we go through our global development, what we call one team for our project. Wargaming platform, it's the core game and business services that the games are required to use. You have to do this to use for distribution, commerce, and player management. That's the software, that complicated thing that we're asked to build. Simply put, it's that we're going to give you the games, we're going to make you an account, and we're going to let you pay us for the fun. That sounds simple, but it's, again, very complicated, especially when it's being done in multiple locations. My office is in Seattle. It's actually not Seattle. They call it Wargaming Seattle, but we have Redmond, Bellevue, Kirkland. None of it's actually in Seattle. But still, let's call it Seattle for now. And we have an office in Kyiv, right here. Beautiful. 2 shops in big team in Minsk. Another big team in also Minsk Commerce and Platform. So that's all organized under Matt. Hi, Matt. As head of platform. One more time. Yegor Malutin, director of platform Minsk. Yes! Woo! Irina Lokshina in Kyiv. Woo! Slava Glashev, commerce. Hi, guys in Seattle. I'm Jay. And we are, Matt goes like, make it happen. I really don't care. Just make this software go, work together. And we tried. But we ran into issues. Stuff happens. You can imagine. Language barriers. That's my one word, spasiba. Actually, I know another word. I'm not going to say it.
You have to say it.
No, not that one. Actually, 3 words.
It.
So, okay, I know yellow, blue bus? Yeah. Is that right? I think that's, yeah, yellow, blue bus. Yes, I love. So that's the one word that I know. Time differences: 10 hours, sometimes 11, sometimes 11. We don't like it either. We wish they would change it, but they don't do it. But it's sometimes 11. Oh, back to sometimes 11. So this means that if somebody misses an email and doesn't respond, something like 2 whole days go by, and you just lose a lot of time. So you have to be very careful about this. Cultural differences. This was a culture map study that Wargaming presented for us, and we learned that between US and Eastern Europe, for example, there are very different ways of interacting and for example, coming to decision-making, persuasion, leadership. These are all like, look at the bars. It's all very different. Plus, I'm Korean, so I'm somewhere over in like all kinds of other places because I'm a Korean immigrant, so I got like some crazy mix of both. Methodology, this is very important. If somebody says like we're running actual agile, they're kind of lying to you because there's no such thing as pure agile. You do some of both. And also pure waterfall, you can't figure out everything before you write code, so you do your best you can. The truth is somewhere in between. But the tension comes when we are trying to work together and go like, it's sometimes over here, and it's sometimes over here, and you don't really know what the right thing to do, and you get into conflict. So we said like, okay, before we do this, let's pretend the project is already over and we will do a post-mortem, but let's do it ahead of time and call it a pre-mortem. Matt brought that back from some Stanford expensive fancy thing that y'all executive guys did, and we learned it and we're going like, let's actually try it. So we sat together for, that was a 4 a.m. meeting, wasn't it? And for hours and hours and hours, we identified all the issues, talked about all the possible problems that we're going to have. Giant whiteboard of to-do lists with like actual, like, responsible, my job was to do this, Slava, Yegor, Irina, we all had tasks and items, and a big fat old Confluence page got made. And it kind of still wasn't happening. We were still going in different directions. What the hell is going on? And it didn't change until this email came out. By the way, folks, this is a lesson in life. Anything you write in email could show up on a giant screen. So be careful what you write in email. So Matt said, I need your help. I'm on an impossible mission to build one team globally for the Wargaming platform. And it's just too hard to do it by himself. Once this email came out to our leadership, we go like, okay, we're going to actually do this. But first of all, we don't have a choice because Matt's making us do it. But we're doing this. So the words of one team became our battle cry. Like let's battle or go Seahawks. But this is one team became the battle cry for our platform team. And things started to happen. Like Facebook posts showed up with one team. People started saying it at the end of Skype calls. Am I talking too loud, by the way? Let me know. And people started signing emails at the end of it, blah, 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 email, one team, love Jay, right? That kind of stuff started happening organically, and that was magic. Okay, so Yegor, what the hell happened here? Yegor and Slava, there was a team building exercise, what?
He loves one team.
He loves one team?
Yes.
So much so that he got the logo on his forehead, on his head tattooed. Is that permanent tattoo or is that like? No, it's not permanent tattoo. Okay, he doesn't love us that much.
I wish it be.
It's not permanent. They were asked to build this ginormous like Rube Goldberg machine together, and they were yelling one team the whole time. And I saw this video that came out afterwards where like the whole thing worked on the first time. They were working together, 5, 6 different teams, putting different parts of this, like, Rube Goldberg machine, and it worked. I'm not going to play the video because it is long, but again, more people like using the battle cry of one team. And as that started to happen, some magical things happened. The teams came closer together. By the way, I worked really hard on that animation. And most importantly, the boundaries between the teams start to soften. And we were really working, not perfectly, that's not one big circle, but it's, it's mostly, the colors are faded, right? So we're working better together. In Minsk, Seattle, ooh, this is a smart crew. This is a picture of, there's a lot of brain there. Kyiv, and even like sharing our information, not just, of course, for us, but to the rest of the company as well. So what does one team mean for us? Well, let's ask. Let's ask my colleagues here. Well, Slava, what does one team mean for you?
Trust. Well, trust for me is just the ability to do more work in less time, because when you trust the guys, you don't need to check them. You don't need to over-communicate. So you're just doing your job, you're good at, and then you let them do their job, and you just then merge. And everything is okay. So
everything
that's
is
the
okay.
Trust, you have to build it.
For me, go Seahawks. Strength. So Pete Carroll, the head coach of Seahawks, talks about like working to people's strengths rather than shoring up their weaknesses. You're a good runner, but a crappy, passer. Let's not worry about the passing part. Make sure that your running is even better than other people's running, and the team working together makes up for your weaknesses. Work on your strengths, not on your weaknesses. That's what one team means for me. I got other people who are super strong, making up for my weaknesses, like right now. Irina.
Well, for me, it's also about commitment, which is if you're committed to your goals, you keep climbing the hill no matter how hard it is. That's what we did in Seattle last time.
All right, this was a hard hill. Matt goes like, we're going to go on a hike. Okay, it can't be that bad. Oh my God. It was a rough hike. We all made it. Zherba made it. we all came back down from the mountain, and we knew that, if somebody fell, the other people were going to help them down.
And finally, support. Support is what allows us to support each other, and the result of this, we can grow up a tree in a desert of despair.
Desert of despair. Okay, thank you. Desert of despair. That's not Yegor. He's a support. So let's ask Slava. Slava, give us an example of one team actually working for you.
Well, let's take commerce, for example. Click. So actually, we're making new commerce because we need new features and more new features for our guys. So we decided to co-develop it. So this is 3 teams together: Jay's, Yegor's, mine, in 2 cities. Seattle, Minsk, 11 time difference, blah, blah, blah. So actually, what I would like to say you guys, that if you have the least chance not to go to the distributed team, don't go. Don't go, because it is hellish job. You have lots of risks. Yeah, high overhead on all the processes, different work practices. You just stumble. It's very painful. Yeah, so it can eat all the benefits. So you should be very, very careful and calculated, making pre-mortem just to eliminate. But if you will do this, you will get lots of benefits. So you will have to, you will be able to do a lot of work in parallel because you have a lot of resources, a lot of good guys. So you will be able to use different technologies, different expertise, and actually you will save for trips because there are always local stakeholders in each team, and you can just talk with them without just going to Seattle, to Minsk, to Kyiv. So, so we actually discussed what is one team for us all. I'd like to add something else. So this is Slack, this is shifted hours.
Engagement, yeah.
Yeah, engagement. So who was at the first lecture here? Case Fuller. Oh, Case, hi. So actually engagement, this is the most important things, well, for all teams, but for distributed teams, it really, without it, you can't do that. Because, so, here is the Slack, and between Minsk and Seattle, and you can see, guys, there is like 6 a.m. in Minsk, and the guys are already up, or they can be like late up at night, like 11 or 1 a.m. And you can see that these guys are engaged, because if they are not, well, this is empty Slack. So over communication in the start to make everything clear, but then last when you build the trust, you can just trust, less communication, everything is clear. And okay, communication and development is fine, it's needed, but actually, yes, we're all humans, and we need to meet each other, to look and to say thank you for the work done, guys. So we need to fulfill your human needs and to celebrate.
Thank you, Slava. Now, that was an example. This is actually working, and we were able to get a server up and running, and then this commerce piece that we have actually is in fact going even as we speak, working across multiple locations. But in order to keep the one team going, we need more than just like just that. We need to have focus, and we need to have clarity. Irina.
Well, so why is clarity important? It's because we have a great team which can get a lot of really good work done, and we have clear priorities and are focused on their tasks, and in the end you get great results. Now, if there is no clarity, then instead of great results, you just get great confusion and great frustration, because when the work is done, your stakeholders are not happy because it's not what they wanted you to do, and your team is demotivated because they've done all this work, made all those efforts, and all that goes to waste. So how do we avoid this? Our regular development process goes through a funnel from the very conception of the idea all the way to the delivery. And the secret of the funnel is that as you go through it, the cost of changes goes up as you move through the phases. So really, you want to reach that clarity and establish clear goals and make all the decisions at the top of the funnel. Now, to be able to do that, you have to have your funnel process to be very clear, streamlined, and easy to follow. When we just started, we looked at our existing funnel process and realized that it was more like this. Now, that's not very clear, so we knew we had to come up with a better way, and that's why we came up with a portfolio management process. And I'm just going to show you a video which basically describes how this process works.
How do we start projects at Wargaming? Well, every so often, a team comes up with a good idea and begins to work on it. Unfortunately, what sounded like a good idea at first sometimes ends up not quite aligning with the company's vision. Other times, a team's priorities are shifted, making it difficult for them to finish what they started. And because there are so many different teams and so many different ideas at Wargaming, it can be challenging to keep tabs on who's working on what. Before you know it, a whole bunch of time has been wasted working on the wrong stuff. Teams lose morale, and the company loses money. What's needed is a process that increases visibility into how ideas go from concept to completion. A process that takes into account the overall priorities, needs, and vision of the entire leadership team. Luckily, there's an industry-proven model that does just that. It's called the portfolio management process. It works like this. Ideas are gathered up by project managers. These can be large or small, critical or luxury. Project managers rank these ideas by priority, cost, and complexity. Then, members of the leadership team work with project managers to prioritize the ideas for pre-production and development. Once a project backlog has been established, high-priority projects can be assigned to teams for implementation. To ensure that they're not juggling competing priorities, each team can only work on one project at a time. Checkpoints throughout development keep the leadership team informed and allow for comments and course corrections. Once committed to a project, a team cannot start a new project until they either ship or cancel the current one. The longer a project is worked on, the more expensive a cancellation becomes. This holds leadership and project teams accountable for respecting established priorities and delivering finished work. As projects are shipped and teams free up, new projects can come off the backlog. One team is kept free to provide support and maintenance for completed projects. Throughout this process, the leadership team meets regularly with project managers to prioritize new ideas as they roll in. Now everyone is on the same page, and teams are free to focus on shipping great products. It might sound simple, but implementing this process will require a deep commitment from leadership and project teams. We'll need education, new tools, and active engagement to ensure a successful rollout. When the ideas we work on are unified with the company vision, everybody wins. So let's make it easy to turn good ideas into great products with the portfolio management process.
That was a cute video. That's great. Did you make it?
Well, not really, my team did.
Okay.
So is a real process really that smooth and picture perfect as the one in the video? Of course it's not. But we're committed to it, so we stick to it and we improve as we go and we work collaboratively as one team.
Thank you. Now, part of the course, again, it's very important to be communicating properly throughout your one team. It's not just you, again, multiple locations. There's a much more a higher burden of communication on such an effort. Yegor.
So, communications. Humans are social by nature. We have 21 different facial expressions, and it's obvious thing that emotions are crucial, essential for communication and influencing others. Distributed teams face several communication obstacles. It's not only about time zone differences or inability to see someone in person, but also cultural differences, behavioral patterns, and language barriers. So, to exchange knowledge among the all remotely located teams, we need to overcome all of these obstacles in order to introduce interactions and communications which will be comparable to originally co-located operations. So, to have successful teaming, we need the communication to flow easily. We have some experience with tools and techniques using for communication, and we will provide a couple of notes we discovered during our journey. So, first, email. Email is one of the most popular channels to transfer information to people across different time zones, but it's asynchronous. And it's good for notes, for sure. It's good for coordination, yes, truly. But remember one thing, it's absolutely not appropriate thing to have emails for emotions. It's asynchronous. Emotions triggers a mess. So, next tool, instant messaging. It already has become a business tool for communicating to each other in synchronous way. It falls somewhere between calls and emails with respect to formality and immediacy. Slack. Some people refer to Slack as a team chat application, but really it's so much more than that. It doesn't just a tool which allows us to communicate to each other easily, but it also pipes into feeds of activities which is happening among our teams and projects. And it's searchable, yes, for sure. Regular Skype voice. Skype voice is a great thing. It allows us to communicate and coordinate, stay in touch, and be on a connection every day. So, it allows us to skip time zone differences. And the good point of using Skype here, we can do in real time notes of the meetings. And here is a trick. It's our favorite method of communicating, synchronization, and daily stand-ups. And pants optional. It's good news for Seattle. Because it's early morning in their time. Regular Skype video. Video is better than voice, for sure. It allows us to see people's faces, emotions, which has an influence on our interpretation of information. But it's tough for large groups. When you have 3 locations or 4 locations at the same time on the call, with 5 or 6 people at each end, it's really difficult to obtain all benefits of video calls. And pens recommended, yes, for sure. Travel, getting some FaceTime. While all of these tools getting a great job, in filling some contextual void, there is still no replacing for the real scene. No amount of video, no cat gifs can replace sitting together around the table after a long day of work and sharing a relaxing drink. Something unique happens when teammates have an opportunity to work together at the same time in person. It allows, the most important thing here is it allows to learn one another's style, skills, personality, area of expertise. It's the best. If this seems expensive for you, that's because it is. But the great part of this, you will be able to cover all money you spent on this, and plus more as an outcome of this. As a result, we strive to bring our team together at least 2 months, every 2 months. And another point here, and pens are quiet, yes for sure.
Sorry.
And good point here with regards to communication tools is that frequency seems to be a key to success. We stay in touch, regardless of any communication tool, mechanics, or whatever. We stay in touch regularly on a frequent basis. As a conclusion, for communication aspects of across distributed teams, we can make only 2 points here. First of all, allow teams to choose their own communication tools. They need to choose it by their own decision. It's crucial here. But what we can do, it's another point. Insist on frequent communication across team members.
Thank you, Yegor. And now you're having your communications, but conflicts are going to happen. People are going to disagree. You're going to have major points of view that are completely different, and you don't know why, what's happening. And it's just part of working together. How do we deal with that? Thank you, Yegor, for saying laying out the communication channels. But one of the best pieces of advice that I got was, okay, everybody close your eyes. Come on. Okay, don't close your eyes. But imagine in your mind the person you want to talk to the least. The troublesome person, the boss, the customer who's being unreasonable. Now, really, that's the person you have to talk to next, right away. Because if you let it go longer, it just gets worse. So our technique is like get in their face, over-communicate until they say, stop talking to me. And then you've done your job and you talk to them one more time just to make sure. If that still doesn't work, and then that's still going to sometimes get into a situation where it doesn't work. So you have to escalate your emotional content of your communication. If they hit you up with a crappy piece of email, you go on Skype and talk to them on voice. If that still doesn't work, you turn on the camera, pants on, and show them your face, and talk to them together, and see if that goes. Of course, sometimes that's going to fail. Then you get on a plane, pay for the plane ticket, and go talk to them. Get in their face. Dude, what is happening? What is the problem? Get in their face and talk to them by escalating what Yegor said. Beat the one that you're doing with the next level. And that still sometimes doesn't work. You're in the meeting, you're having it, and then like somebody says something crappy, and and the emotions are just flying, and you don't know what to do. What do you do then? You go to Fight Club. Fight Club is just my ex-business partner and I. We instituted this at our startup, and we said like, okay, we're going to start this company together, and we want to have a culture that anybody can say anything to anybody if they say the word Fight Club first. It's private, and you say, okay, we're going to stop this conversation, but we're going to go off, and I'm going to sit there. I'm going to get ready. Hit me as hard as you can with whatever you think, and I'm going to take it because. Saying the word Fight Club takes the surprise out of it. Nobody's going to just, I asked for it. I go, okay, we're going to have a Fight Club. So he's going to say whatever he's going to say to me, and I'm going to oh, okay, yeah, all right. And then it's my turn, though. I'm going to go like the last time you did this, blah, 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 whatever that's like going on in my mind. But I'm going to get it out there. Because we said the words Fight Club, it is now in a small, safe bubble of communication, which is private. It triggers a pause in the emotional escalation. The juices are going. You're already sinking deeper and deeper into your reptile brain where all you can think about is fighting or fleeing. But you say Fight Club, you go like, okay, stop that reptile brain and let's move it up into the emotional brain. Eventually, you'll be able to get up over into the human brain where you can actually have a friggin' conversation. Fight Club means there's no ranks, lowest person, highest person, left or right, sideways, doesn't matter. You deal with the issues, you remove the resentments, unresolved feelings. That will destroy a team faster than anything else. And you let the emotions play out, oops, go back. And you both take turns and you get to the root causes of the problem that have been plaguing your communication in the first place. So we do all these things and we have our one team. What are we building? We're building a culture of trust. I trust you. We have a way of fighting. We have a way of communications. We have a way of focusing our efforts. And we know that in the culture of trust, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to fail. Please have the courtesy to fail quickly, but don't hide your problems. And we can all work together. And when we have that, we can do anything. Even make that giant piece of horrendously difficult software that's been asked of us. And so for us, all together, we want to thank you for coming, because what we believe is that with one team, we're not just delivering software, we're not just delivering ourselves, we're delivering one company. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Yegor Malutin, Slava, Irina, thank you very much. All right, I got questions, comments.
Okay, so guys, if